What you fear to face is where your truth waits. The part of you you fear the most might be the only part that knows where you're meant to go. What if every fear you carry, every flaw you try to hide, and every mistake you've made isn't a burden, but a map? A map leading directly to your greatest strength. What if the parts of yourself you've spent years burying, the shame, the doubt, the darkness, are not barriers to overcome, but keys to a more meaningful, powerful life? Today I invite you to walk with me toward that hidden door inside you, the one you've kept closed for so long. We won't kick it down. We'll open it gently, bravely, and with deep curiosity. Behind that door is the part of you that holds pain, but also purpose. Shadows that seem threatening at first may turn out to be your greatest teachers. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finally meeting yourself. And what you discover there might just change everything. Have you ever wondered why we wear invisible masks every single day? The mask of confidence, of logic, of success. Carefully packaged images designed to convince the outside world that we're doing just fine. But behind the door of our inner world, deep within a locked room, there exist chaotic emotions, hidden desires, and those inconvenient parts of ourselves that we deliberately bury. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, called this part the shadow. It is the collection of traits, emotions, and desires we reject or deny out of fear of judgment or getting hurt. Interestingly, according to modern research, including work by Dr. Jordan Peterson, the ability to understand and regulate our inner darkness has a greater impact on success than IQ or natural talent. It's not the brightest who thrive, but those who learn to harmonize the light and dark within themselves. Perhaps it's time we ask ourselves, how many masks are we wearing? And what exactly is being locked away underneath? Did you know the very thing we avoid within ourselves often ends up quietly controlling our lives? The more we ignore, deny, or reject our inner darkness, the more it subtly manipulates our emotions, drives our actions, and even shapes major life decisions. Imagine trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The more force you use to keep it down, the more violently it bursts to the surface when you're tired. Our inner darkness behaves the same way. The more we suppress feelings like anger, jealousy, or fear, the more they seek release, often in unpredictable, even destructive ways. According to statistics from the American Psychological Association, nearly 70% of uncontrolled outbursts stem from unhealed, unacknowledged parts of our inner shadow. This shows that running from the dark not only exhausts us, it can lead to deep psychological consequences. So maybe, instead of continuing the battle against ourselves, it's time we start listening to the whispers from that darkness. One of the easiest ways to recognize the shadow within our soul is to observe the intense emotional reactions we often try to rationalize or hide. Have you ever felt an irrational surge of jealousy when witnessing someone else's success, even though your mind tells you that you should be happy for them? Or perhaps you've been overly irritated by someone's small mistake, something so minor it shouldn't have bothered you at all. Or maybe there have been moments where you suddenly dislike someone without any clear reason. These emotions are not random. They are signals, evidence that the ego is struggling with parts of ourselves we haven't yet dared to confront. According to Dr. Robert Johnson in his book, Owning Your Own Shadow, the people or situations that frequently provoke us are actually mirrors, reflecting the rejected aspects of our own psyche. Every time we feel anger, envy, or judgment, it's not just a negative emotion to suppress, it's an opportunity, an invitation to turn inward, to listen, and to begin healing the hidden corners of our soul. True courage isn't about defeating others, nor is it about conquering the outside world. Courage, in its deepest sense, is the willingness to face ourselves, to confront the darkness, the wounds, and the fears we've kept hidden for so many years. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming the whole person we were born to be. But that doesn't mean becoming perfect by society's standards. Jung emphasized that true maturity comes when we embrace both the light and the shadow within us, not just the beautiful parts we like to show the world. I believe that those who dare to face their shadow, without running, without hiding, are the true warriors of the soul. They turn pain into power and wounds into wisdom. But let's be honest, very few people have the courage to walk this path. Because the shadow isn't just frightening, it demands brutal honesty with oneself. So, if you're ready to take the plunge, the first question to ask yourself is, how do I begin the journey of befriending my shadow? The first step is observation. When you find yourself reacting intensely, feeling angry, jealous, or deeply hurt, don't rush to judge or dismiss those feelings. Instead, write them down, like an explorer carefully noting strange signs along an unknown path. The next step is acceptance. Rather than running away, gently ask yourself, what part of me is trying to protect something here? What fear is whispering behind this anger, jealousy, or sense of failure? And most importantly, begin a dialogue. Try writing a letter to the shadow part of yourself. Ask it, what lesson are you here to teach me? Don't force an answer. Just listen. One entrepreneur once shared that it was through speaking honestly with his childhood fear of failure, something he had long buried in shame, that he transformed that fear into unshakable determination. It became the very fuel that helped him overcome some of the greatest challenges in his life. Imagine this, a painting made entirely of bright colors with no shadows or dark tones would appear flat, lacking depth and emotion. Likewise, a piece of music composed only of high, soaring notes, without any pauses or low tones, would soon become monotonous and fail to truly move the listener. It is the interplay between light and shadow that creates real beauty. Beauty with soul, with depth, and with life. And our lives are no exception to that rule. When you dare to face, accept, and connect with the shadow within you, your fears, your failures, your abandoned desires, you don't just begin to heal, you start to paint a masterpiece of a life not defined solely by outward brilliance, but filled with deep understanding, compassion, and inner freedom. Without embracing your shadow, you can only paint half a picture. But if you learn to use both light and darkness as your palette, you'll create a work of art you can truly be proud of. The journey of exploring the shadow isn't just a path to better self-understanding. It is a great return, a coming home to yourself, where you meet the most authentic version of who you are, including both the parts you once cherished and the parts you once rejected. Because wholeness doesn't come from clinging only to the light and discarding the darkness. True wholeness arises when you embrace both, recognizing that each has its rightful place in your journey of growth. Remember, there is no light more radiant than the one born from within the darkness. This light isn't borrowed, nor is it artificial. It is the essence of courage, honesty, and a deep love for your true self. If today you feel ready, leave a comment sharing your own experience, or simply take a few quiet minutes to have a heartfelt conversation with the shadow inside your soul. And don't forget to like and share this video so we can spread this light of awakening to others who are still searching in the dark.